Hey guys, so I've got both boys down for nap. I feel like I'm stinking winning and I have a lot of things I want to talk about, and Instagram stories is way too short, so I'm like, I'm gonna talk to my YouTube peeps about all the things that are on my mind. And I've got my water. I know a lot of YouTubers are doing like coffee chit chat stuff, but let's be real, I'm over coffee. What I've noticed, I really didn't drink coffee throughout my pregnancy, and I was just drinking my all-natural pre-workout, which has minimal caffeine. Don't lecture me on, this is a different kind of pre-workout, okay? I drank that all through my pregnancy, and when I went back to coffee, I realized like my anxiety and my heart rate went through the roof after having coffee, and then at about 10:30 I needed another cup. Whereas with my all-natural energy pre-workout that I drink, I have one a day and that's good enough for me. So we're not in a coffee chit chat, we're doing water chit chat, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Questions about my favorite podcasts. You guys asked me a lot about that. Am I breastfeeding? And mom guilt. Okay, so I want to start off with mom guilt because I've been having a lot of conversations with first-time moms, moms with multiple kids, and my girlfriends and I, my Misfit Republic coaches and I went to the Rachel Hollis Made for More movie, which if you guys haven't read or listened to, I loved listening to Rachel Hollis's book, Girl Wash Your Face. That book is amazing, and she made her Rise event into a documentary. Me and my girlfriends went to it. I brought the baby, and it was amazing, and it really got all of us thinking about how, you know, we have felt like we are made for more, but in the midst of motherhood, we feel like we should just be a mom, or we feel like, you know, everybody says these days go by so fast, so we should just focus on this. But then we get lost in motherhood. Every day seems so like you're surviving instead of thriving, and we really just got thinking of how it's really mom guilt that seeps into our heads, that, you know, our kids should be our everything, our kids should be the center of our lives, our kids should run the show. And in reality, like, that's not what I want for my boys. I don't want my boys to see me sacrificing myself, sacrificing my hobbies, my passions, the things that make me happy, and showing them love instead. And what I mean by that is, you can absolutely love your kids, be a really great and fantastic mom, and pursue your passions. And then when I sat down and thought about it, a lot of the women that I admire and respect, I admire and respect them because they are moms, they're great moms, they're happy moms, they are mentally strong, they are physically strong, they are able, they are loving, they are guiding, they are patient, they are kind. And it's because they have something else outside of motherhood. But because this mommy guilt seeps in and is like, you know, nobody else should watch your kids because that means somebody else is raising them. That's a lie. All of these mommy guilt things are lies, you know, and I'm only giving the examples of things that have gone through my head, like being a business owner and working from home, like, you know, feeling guilty when I put on the TV for a little bit while I'm listening to a work call, or asking for help when I set goals and need more time dedicated to my business in achieving them, and not feeling guilty about it, and knowing that not only am I having fun mentoring my people, but my kids are also, you know, learning lessons from other loved ones and other people who are kind and wise and teach them in different ways. As soon as I started asking for help with Bryce in his first year of life, you guys, it was the hardest thing for me to ask for help because of his reflux and how fussy he was and how high maintenance he was with just like he was very sensitive to where he was sleeping, and I like did not ask for help. And once I started to ask for help, I noticed not only did I feel really good, it was uncomfortable feeling at first, but not only did I feel good about it, Bryce started progressing in ways that I couldn't believe, and he was learning things and discovering things with those other people who loved them, like my mom and another his daycare lady. I'm just gonna say it because I don't have guilt about it. I started him in daycare when he was like 18 months old. He started going to this daycare, and he has like learned so much from the other kids. I learned that he is an introvert, and he likes recharging at home, but he loves being around other people, and he loves going out and doing things and adventuring. And when he has his really awful tantrums, it's often because he just wants to go explore and learn and be a hands-on learner. He is definitely a visual learner, and mom guilt could have totally taken over. And one of the pieces of advice I gave one of my friends, Lexi, and she's Ashmore Fit Fam on Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram down below. She's amazing. She's a mom of 3, and she was talking about, you know, just really wanting to go after something that's on her heart, but feeling guilty about wanting to be the one raising her kids. And I was like, you know what? The only thing you can do is try, you know, like Bryce being home with me 24/7 while building my business wasn't working for me. There's many people in my industry that it works completely fine for. So I decided to try part-time daycare, and I saw it as like a temporary trial thing. Like if Bryce didn't like it, we would find something different. And if Bryce didn't flourish there, we would find something different and maybe do like a nanny style or something like that. But the only thing you can do is try, you guys. And so many of you are hesitant even to like join my team Misfit Republic because you don't know if it's going to work for you. But the only way you know is if you try, and if you go all in with it and you're like, I'm gonna see how this goes. And that's what I did when I started my business. I'm like, I'm gonna give it 6 months. I'm gonna do what my mentor tells me. I'm gonna put my head down and work. And you know, it wasn't making like a full-time income in 6 months, but I was making a good part-time paycheck. And I was like, okay, I'm having fun with this. I'm loving it. It's good for me, and I'm gonna keep going. But I wouldn't have known if I didn't try. And I thought about it for 2 months before trying it. And same with this daycare thing. It really was like my husband kind of being annoying and being like, you know, have you found daycare? Have you heard about anything from a daycare or referrals for a daycare? And I was just kind of like tired of saying I haven't even looked, that I started looking, and we found something that worked out perfectly. And I prayed about it. Like I prayed not only for something to give me the time, but also the right person for Bryce's personality. Okay, so that is my little spiel on mom guilt. Now, so a lot of you probably haven't even made it this far in the video, but I've been getting a lot of questions on, am I breastfeeding? No, I'm not. And I have zero tolerance for mom shaming. So if you are going to do that, then bye. See you later. We should break up already. We probably wouldn't be very good friends anyways, because it just, with Bryce, it really put a lot of pressure on, I put a lot of pressure on me for doing it, and physically my hormones didn't handle it well. I know that it really was the root of my postpartum anxiety. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I felt like a failure. I got really down on myself. I was seeing other people having this great experience with breastfeeding, and every time Bryce latched, I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud to you guys because I fear judgment, but Bryce would latch, and I didn't feel that like, oh, this is amazing feeling. I felt like I wanted to like push him off. Like, oh, I didn't like it. And I had no problem with producing, and I don't like say that to brag, but even when my milk came in with after having Jace, I knew I wasn't gonna breastfeed. I put double sports bras on, but I leaked for a long time because I do have good supply, and I do think that has to do with my water intake, my healthy food intake, and things like that. But for me, I just knew that this time around formula would be the best thing for us and our family, and it has been. I've been perfectly happy with that decision. I get looks, honestly, when I'm out in public and I shake up a bottle of formula and put it into Jace's mouth, but honestly, I don't give a f. I don't cuss hardly ever unless I mean it, and I really don't care. Like, I am doing what is best for me and my family. And yes, I know breast milk is like the miracle food, but in my experience with Bryce, a depressed, anxious, insane mama is not going to lead to a happy, healthy baby. I know a lot of Bryce's stress was caused because he could feel that from me. And Bryce is, oh gosh, I'm gonna get emotional. Bryce is still an emotional kid, and he gets very angry very quickly, and he has very angry tantrums. And I often think, like, did he get this vibe of anxiety? Is it from anxiety, number one? And did he get that from me? For when I had so much pressure on myself to breastfeed and to like breastfeeding, and he has tongue and lip tie, which I knew nothing about. Why don't they talk about that in the hospital? Why don't they check for that in the hospital? Because he had a terrible latch. So it was super painful, not only for me, but for him. And he was actually getting milk, but it like seriously all run down the side of his face. So he wasn't getting any food. It was an awful experience. And it caused a lot of crazy psychotic feelings. And I actually opened up to my hairdresser about it. And she was like, oh yeah, I had crazy thoughts about that too. Just like, you know, I'm carrying my baby down the stairs, and you have this thought of like, what if I fall down the stairs, land right on top of my baby, and he's dead? Or what if I just drop off my kid at the fire department? Like, postpartum depression and anxiety is real, guys. I made a video on that. I can leave that down in the comments below. But you have crazy psychotic thoughts where you don't even want to say them out loud because you know how crazy and psychotic they are. So no, I'm not breastfeeding. I have no guilt over that, and that is that. And then my favorite podcast. So you guys ask about my favorite podcast all the time. My favorite parenting one is, I'm gonna show it to you guys. Here we go, shows. Is Parenting Great Kids by Dr. Meg Meeker. That one. That is my favorite parenting podcast. She is a pediatrician. She's also a mom and a grandma. She's really good. I really love her topics. And if you go way back, my favorite episodes is Raising Strong Boys. She has really great ones. Her most recent ones aren't my favorite, but if you go back to like January and past, those are my favorite. Oh, well, obviously the Rise and Rise Together podcast by Rachel Hollis. With Rachel Hollis, I guess. This one she does with her husband. They have amazing couples advice. And then her other one has amazing business advice. It's just called Rise Podcast. The Purpose Show. I really love The Purpose Show with Ali Casaza. She is a minimalist. She's like a blogging rock star. She's amazing. The Purpose Show. I love that one. She's very casual. I love Ali's style because she's very non-judgmental. You know, like she definitely is a mom that's just like, I just want other moms to be happy and give advice and resources for other moms to be happy. Business ones I'm really digging right now. The one is Your Virtual Upline. So if you are in a if you have an online business or if you're in a network marketing company, whether it's like mine, Beachbody, or another one, your virtual upline is fantastic. He keeps things so simple, and he's a guy, and oftentimes I feel like guys can tell it like it is more often than women can. And he, two new ones I subscribe to is Pretty Electric. I've heard really good things about this one. Sorry, this is taking forever to focus. Pretty Electric. This is also a women in business podcast. And then On Purpose with Alex Beaton. And Alex is amazing with Instagram too. So you should follow Alex on Instagram. Those are my favorite podcasts right now. And yeah, that is my little chit chat for you guys today. Leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts on any of the things that I talked about. And to all you moms, cheers. You're doing a really good job. You're doing the best that you can. We're all gonna make mistakes. And the mom shaming just needs to go away. You do things the way you feel is best. Offer advice in a kind, caring, loving way. And then mind your own business. I don't know. How can we best? How can we best? Because like, I don't want to be this. I know I said goodbye already. I always do this. But I know, like, I was talking about, you know, feeling pressure from, you know, breastfeeding. And it is National Breastfeeding Awareness Month, and I have friends that breastfeed their kids till they're 5. Well, not really, but like past 1 and 2, and I think that's awesome and amazing and good for them. And I have no problem when people breastfeed around me or in public or anything. Like, I don't want to add to breastfeed shaming. I don't want to add to that. But also, like, don't turn it around and be like, and judge somebody else for not breastfeeding if it's just not right for them, you know? I've gotten a lot of comments on my Instagram about how when I said like breastfeeding caused my postpartum anxiety and depression, they were like, no, it didn't. Like, if you would have continued with it, your postpartum anxiety and depression would have gone away because of the dopamine that is released when you're nursing. And I honestly don't think my body was releasing any dopamine when I was nursing, because I just did not like it. And even when it was the day after Jace was born, the doctor came in and was like, you know, are you nursing? And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. And then he's talked to me about postpartum depression and anxiety, because he's like, you struggled with that last time. And I was like, honestly, I think it was because of me trying so hard and putting so much pressure on myself to nurse. And he's like, yep, I know, I'm supposed to push breastfeeding, we're supposed to be pushing breast is best and all this stuff. But he's like, I've just seen so many young women coming into the office completely exhausted, completely stressed out, completely frazzled because of breastfeeding. And he said it's a personal choice, and there shouldn't be pressure on somebody to breastfeed, and there shouldn't be pressure on somebody to not breastfeed. So like, I hope me sharing my experience isn't saying like breastfeeding is going to give you anxiety and depression. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just sharing my experience, because I know when I was trying so hard, I felt so much shame and guilt and awful emotions giving it up. And even like when Bryce was 6 months, I remember bawling and being like, I wish I could just produce milk again and all of his problems would go away. But that really is not the case. So I think I'm gonna go take a nap too with my boys. Sorry, my glasses were glared the whole time, and this video is already much too long. So thank you, mamas, so much for watching. And like I said, leave a comment down below.